You got to feel to heal. And for so long, my walls were up. I didn't like feeling. But at 5 years old, my mother, in a fit of rage, decided to take me upstairs. And I'm holding on to the black stairway, and I look downstairs, and I see yellow Coors beer cans everywhere. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my mom is drunk. She pulls me upstairs. She opens up the bathroom. She throws me in the bathroom. She comes in, kicks the door shut. She turns on the hot water to the sink. She proceeds to tell me how bad of a kid I am. That you're the devil, Derek. You're the devil. I wish I never had you. You're just like your dad. And all I see is steam coming up from the sink, and I have no idea what's going to happen. And then my mom does the unthinkable. She grabs my little left hand. This kid right here, grabs my little left hand and holds it under that water as I scream for my life. No, Mom, I'm sorry. I'm screaming for my life. She lets me go, and I hold my hand. And I look in the mirror and see the reflection of the most angriest person I've ever seen. My mother, who's supposed to love me, who's supposed to protect me, who's supposed to care for me, tell me how great I am. And then my mom snaps. She grabs my left hand again, and she holds it under that hot water, which felt like an eternity. And it burned, and it burned, and it burned, until she finally let go. And this 5-year-old kid right here, all the skin and part of the flesh all came off in one clump. And not only did she burn my hand, she burned into my heart, into my soul, into my spirit, into my mind, that I was a bad kid, that I had no value. She bandaged me up, and a few months later, her and my stepdad loaded me up in the car, and we took a drive. And we ended up at this big building. We walked in, and my mom and stepdad are talking to a few people, and then they leave. And a guy in a white coat takes me. They abandoned this kid right here at 5 years old at a psychiatric hospital and never came back for me. And I stayed at that psychiatric hospital for a while they did all these tests on me. I had neurological evaluations, brain scans, going through the big machine, psychological, psychiatric evaluations, speech and language evaluations. And this kid right here, 6 years old, after they were doing these tests, they realized that I had all these major issues. I had the IQ of a 2-year-old. I had 60-word vocabulary, and mainly they were cuss words and very bad phrases. And I was overtly psychotic, erratic psychosis, reactive attachment disorder where I couldn't attach to people, lots of abuse. And they gave me all these labels. And the biggest label that followed me was that I was mentally handicapped. But in those days, they used the R word. And they said if an adequate foster home cannot be found for Derek, he will be sent back to the psychiatric institution. He can go into foster care. And I stayed at a shelter right on the border of Oakland and San Leandro. And I stayed at what they call an orphanage or something until I found a home. And 8 other foster homes that took high-level little kids like me didn't want me. And I'm back at the shelter. And I'm an angry kid, and rightfully so. How do you want me to be in the system? I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I just want to go home. I'll go back to the abuse. I'll go back to the abuse because that's love to me. And when you're conditioned that way, that's what you think love is. I didn't know what real love was. I want to go back home. They said I was not adoptable because of the severity of my emotional and behavioral problems. I'm here to tell you that every kid is adoptable. Every kid deserves love. Every kid deserves family. Every kid doesn't have to pay the price for their parents' mistakes.